This is Eli, longtime viewer. So you said, I have a new oven. I did the 6th Street chocolate chip cookie. It fell flat, tasted great, great texture, but I want it thicker. And where should I make the adjustments? And then I don't think I responded right away. And then you emailed me again with the photo and I said, wow, it looks really dark. Your oven must be too hot. And I asked you a few questions. So you said you baked it from frozen with a 20-minute slack. You did a test at 375. You double panned it. You started and did the delay with the second pan. You have heating elements on the top and the bottom of your oven. And you had a bunch of different thermometers, but you suspected one might not be right. Time goes by, and then you said, hey, I resolved the issue. The oven isn't too hot. You were able to verify the digital temperature. So then you looked at problems for no puff. You used Trader Joe's baking soda. Didn't work. You switched to Arm & Hammer. It did. And then you said you changed a few things. Scooped your dough cold versus scooping it and then chilling it, which makes it a little harder to work with and more compact. And then you said you used Kerrygold butter. And then for your next test, you switched back to Plugra. So then they weren't flat anymore, but you're not sure what the fix was because you changed a couple of things. Is that a good synopsis?
That's a perfect synopsis.
Give us your thoughts so people can learn from your experience on the 6th Street chocolate chip cookie.
I noticed it wasn't really puffing. I just had to take a deep dive. So I went back to your YouTube videos, actually, rewatched a bunch of them, and of course heard things that made sense because I had kind of some hands-on time with it and I experienced some things and I was like, oh, okay. I noticed it wasn't really puffing and wondered if it was the baking soda. And because I emailed you, I was thinking a lot about it. And I realized that I'd switched baking soda like a year ago. And this problem has kind of been going on. I did make some this morning. And I guess I thought I would just show you.
Ooh, good demo.
So this one I kind of scooped at room temperature. You can see the different texture of when I had to kind of compact it in.
Look at the difference. That's amazing. Very amazing, because those air gaps in your scooped at room temperature, that is what gives you the better texture.
I was going to say that the texture is different. I might be dialing it in because it's thicker than it was at one point.
You're dialing it in.
I guess I'll just keep going.
Your process is so great because when you write these emails to me, you're obviously processing your process. You're obviously processing and internalizing the information. And then you have time and then you go back to it. Maybe you test it again and you do these things. And the fact that you've done the same recipe now for what? A year and a half, 2 years?
At least,
I don't know how long.
Whenever you put it out, I started using it.
That's how the learning happens. It doesn't happen with your first exposure or your first question. And so when people ask me a question, I say, I can't just answer you because this light bulb moment, these things are going to happen over time. And I mean, you can't invent an example better than what you just gave me. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and you probably can't anticipate what problems we're going to run into. So we kind of have to just stay at it.
I've seen it made a lot. I've made it a lot. Even little changes. Maybe your baking soda, a year old, I would say that's too old. I don't think baking soda should be a year old, number one. So fresh baking soda is always an easy solution. Then I looked up the Kerrygold, but it doesn't say it has milk powder in it. It just says cultured cream, skim milk, and cultures. So I don't really know if it's used to culture the milk, but it's certainly drying out the cookie, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think so. I've noticed I've been kind of overcooking them a little bit, trying to find that perfect spot. I'd rather be on the overcooked than the undercooked side.
Well, the one cookie you have at your top right, it looks perfect. That's an A. I would eat that in a heartbeat.
Well, I will be eating that in a heartbeat. So,
well, even the other one I'd eat, but that one, you could sell that and people would say, this is an amazing. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's how a cookie should look.
Thank you. I'd offer you one, but yours look.
I know, it's so sad.
You know.
I wish we could all share the food.
Thank you. And I'll share a cookie with you anytime. I'll bring you some.
Oh, I would love it. All right. Well, happy Pride. Have a wonderful day together with Jay. Is your dog nearby?
He's actually stalking us.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Adorable.
He loves the attention.
All right. Well, keep baking and sharing. And I love what you're doing because I'm saving all of your emails and all of this because it's just a good example of how doing the same recipe more than once, taking your time, repeating it, and thinking is really how you grow as a baker. I mean, it's beautiful. Do you think your work has changed significantly overall?
I do. I didn't realize people could bake without timers, that you're like paying attention. A lot has changed. When someone says creaming method, I know what they're talking about and
there you go.
Kind of what to do. So that's great. Significantly. Thank you.
Oh, it's just amazing. I hope people hear you and understand that they can relax a little bit and then just think a little bit more like their ingredients, and that'll help them a lot.
Early pastry school, like what we're getting from you is this way to think. It's not about a recipe, like you said. And I don't know if I believed you at first because my mindset was so recipe.
Hmm.
Um, but the longer I stick around, the more I'm like, you don't really need a perfect recipe. You might run into one, but you need to know what the ingredients are gonna
Yes.
do when you mess with them.
And I found it interesting when I taught the tiramisu. It just hit me yesterday. I have made tiramisu tons of times. I might get the assignment here, you need to make the ladyfingers, you need to make this. And I did the recipe and made it in big sheet pans. Didn't ever think until the other day when I started doing my deep dive, writing my notes, deconstructing the information, and really dissecting it. And you saw my reaction. I was like, I didn't even know I loved tiramisu. And now I'm obsessed. So I don't know. It's interesting. The learning will never cease. We can learn forever and ever, and that for me is the great part.
Your Substack, you really lay it all out too. So it's a full, y'all come to pastry school POP because this is where it's at.
Thank you. Thanks. No, I'm glad. Spread the word. Yeah, learning's where it's at, and I'm glad you feel that way because I am. I mean, this is what I would do if we were in person. So it's just fun that we figured it out. All right, Eli, have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks so much
Thank you.
for
You
sharing.
too.
Oh, is Adriana here? Hi, Adriana. Butter culturing acidity changes the pH of your cookie and therefore the texture and spread. There you go. There you go. See, and that's where my my lack of science. And Adriana, if you ever want to be on here, just ask to be live, and I'm happy to have you here. You can give everyone a quick lesson. The culturing of butter, the process they do for culturing your butter, changes the pH of the cookie and therefore the texture and the spread. Adriana has got the chemistry and the biology. My gosh, that's like such a superpower. And I wish I had more of that. If you don't, like I don't, sometimes I just tend to think about, well, what happened and how is that butter different than this one? And kind of try to tie the concepts together, but then go to Adriana and Sugarology 101 and find out the reason. And then you can slowly over time start to take your outcome and apply it to the ingredients and internalize the information, because you aren't going to learn everything and have every answer to every question you have, because you can't possibly learn everything all at one time. Learning comes in small chunks over time. Eli is amazing. He generously shares what he learns. He has a learning mindset. He also comes open, wanting to learn more, and that's a sign of a good learner. And he puts his money where his mouth is. He's constantly working and baking, and it's a love of baking.